Hi everybody. Yeah, it is Sunday, the 21st of May, 2023. I don't know about you, but I've been keeping my eyes on the G7 summit that's been going on the past few days in Japan. And like I said on my other video, it is taking place on the ground of the first mushroom bomb. Yeah, people who do live there have a high cancer rate. So, like I said before, I think a lot of these people are going to come down with something weird. So, yeah, please remember everything I'm saying today is entertainment purposes only. I am a clairvoyant, and when I see things on the news, in the papers, I get kind of words that are like, this is not right. This is what's really going on. So people say, all I do is regenerate the news, but yeah, I do bring up news topics, things that are going on in the world, but with my clairvoyant opinions and thoughts on them. So it's just, I don't like saying this or that, but just keep in mind this is what I'm seeing on the news and what's going on in the world and how things are happening. Now, okay, most of you, I have explained that as a kid, I did travel a lot with my dad. He was how do I say it? He was a pilot. He was diplomatic transport. And we were all over the place. And I got to see some really cool stuff. From the golden Buddhas that the Taliban destroyed to literally riots outside of the hotel in Karachi. And then, yeah, got within, got all the way to Checkpoint Charlie on the highway to Mecca. But at the same time, I saw a lot, and we had base camp basically in London, Kensington area, right near the back section of KP. And yeah, we were always warned, be careful, crazy Maggie. If she was behind the wheel of a car, it was, you scattered. And even if you saw her coming out on her horse, you scattered. She was crazy. And she was a very, very tiny woman. So to get back, yeah, we have to keep an eye on what's going on in different countries. We all know years back, Greece is part of the EU. And years back, the country went bankrupt. Well, now they're having a new set of elections. And so we need to keep our eye on what's going to happen, especially in Athens the next few days. So let's see who Greece decides to pick to rule the country now. I think it's going to be really, a lot of things are going to come to light, especially the fact that the Greek royal family does have close connections to the British royal family. I mean, remember, Philip was a prince of Greece. His father was the deposed monarch. So the current heads of the Greek royal family are cousins of Charles, first cousins. So we need to keep an eye on that. And now, something else that I've noticed, because I do pay attention to, especially the countries I travel to. Okay, right now there's a river that goes from the eastern edge of Afghanistan that goes through Afghanistan into Iran. Back in 1973, this was before at that time, Soviets, the communist Soviet regime went into Afghanistan. And this is a good 6 years before the extreme Allah Khomeini came in and shattered Iran. Iran was one of the most westernized of the modern Arab countries. In fact, America sold Iran the same type of intaglio printing presses that are used to, those presses are only built for the manufacture of paper currency. And there were plates in the Iranian embassy to print 5s, 10s, 20s, singles, 50s, and 100. They had plates in the embassy to print up American currency. Little known fact, but yeah, they had a intaglio printing press and the plates to print paper currency in Tehran. Well, to get back what I was saying, back in 1973, there was an agreement signed between, at then, the governments of Afghanistan and Iran. And it pertained to water rights, because this is one of the major water sources for the country of Iran. Well, now, the current extreme leadership of both countries are now squabbling about water rights. Not good. Because, let's put it this way, the Iranian mullahs don't necessarily agree with the Taliban version of the Quran. So basically, you've got two sets of the people who worship Allah. There's two different sects, and they have two different versions of which one is better. And so watch out for those two to start clashing. And it's all because of an agreement that was signed back in 1973. There's going to be poop hitting the fan over there because of water rights. So we need to watch what's going on, because it's going to affect a lot of stuff. I mean, not good. Not good. I mean, we are still dealing with the stuff with Iraq, the fallout in Iraq, and Syria nonsense, so this is going to just add more fuel to the fire. Now for the G7, and this encompasses a lot with the blue and yellow flag country. According, there's some reports stating that that America might the Z guy is asking America to provide him with a plane that is a Freddy's Sweet 16. Well, he's saying he wants it. Jojo has already said that he's going to assist Ukraine with military supplies. But there's been a caveat pertaining to supplying the Freddy Sweet 16s, because a guy who gets into the driver's seat needs especially a certain type of training and driver's license. And for this to go through, like, several other countries need to sign okay, like, give an okay on it. Well, most of the training for, like, some of the stuff happens down in San Antonio at this giant Air Force base, Laughlin. And yeah, I've been down in San Antonio a lot. And I've driven from certain property down there. I would sit outside and I would literally watch, because I was on the flight path to one of the major runways. One day I stopped counting at 30 of the giant cargo jets flying in. And I'm like, this was in 16. I'm going, what the heck is going on there? And then later in the afternoon, I got in the car and I drove up, and there's this one road that encompasses San Antonio, but you can see the whole back area of Lockland. And I saw all these jets lined up. And I'm like, what's going on? But these guys who want to drive the Freddy Sweet 16s, they're gonna have to go down there, most likely. And let's put it this way. Texas is a red state. Texas doesn't like the current commander-in-chief. So they're not going to make it easy to teach these guys how to drive Freddy's Sweet 16s. Not in the least. And I've had it on good authority from someone who's down there, who's in the know. Those boys will be made miserable. I wonder how they're going to like the rattlesnake or the wild boar. Well, to follow up on that, it's like, yeah, it's like we're hearing two different stories. I mean, stuff that's coming out on one news station is saying a certain city has fallen. The Z guy is saying, no, it hasn't, no, it hasn't. Well, then you listen to a third station and they're going, it has fallen, and there's some skirmishes street by street. But the city of like Bakhmut, something like that, has fallen to the bear. And the people are kind of happy that the bear is in control. So now it's kind of like the jaws of the bear are open for them to go on the rest of Z guy's territory. So they've come out from the bear's cave, and they're now going to go boom. They're now at that access point, and they're going around so the two jaws of the bear can just go take a big chunk and bite his butt. Now, I watched the majority of it, but I could barely handle the rambling of the fool. I mean, JoJo gave a news conference, basically summing up America's whatever on the G7, and he's tossing out, it was basically all word salad. He's refusing the tax cuts on the oil and gas industry. Well, dude, we have no oil and gas industry here. Don't you remember? You shut that down on your first day in office. And then he's like going on and how he's like they're trying to find the funding to maintain Medicare and police departments and for the teachers and stuff. I go, well, if you stop laundering money through the Z guy, we'd have the money to take care of all of this. But he's like more concerned about, JoJo's more concerned about filling up his own little piggy bank. They're still pushing this clean energy crap, and I'm like, dudes, we're not set up for that, because the next thing you're gonna know, remember 3 Mile Island and that horrible Hanoi Jane movie? Yeah, which brought, I mean, she's a total lefty, and she did that movie basically to inform people of the hazards of nuclear energy. Make up your mind, folks. Yeah. Remember 3 Mile Island, and there was another suburb called Love Canal. Not to mention, it's like the stuff that I mean, they were using some quirky shit out in California. Remember, that's why Julia Roberts won her Oscar. Take a look at that movie. So yeah, they want to do that, but we've got to realize that that kind of energy source is not always the most safe. And at the fact that you're also cutting out a major source of income for a lot of people, you're basically destroying several industries. How are these guys that basically went from high school into the coal mines? Are you going to pay for their re-education? What kind of jobs are they going to get? No, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And it's basically JoJo is also spouting that we need to invest in small third world countries so their economy can be built up. I'm like, dude, you take care of your own backyard first before you start spending money elsewhere. Remember, folks, talk to all those vote blue no matter who. They're bringing it on themselves. And of course, the Z guy, when he's in there, he's wearing his little outfits, his little pullover shirts with his little badges on them. It looks like a total slub where everybody else is in formal business dress. I swear that guy needs to get a suit. I mean, when he was sitting there in the conference with JoJo, he had on a long sleeve 3-button knit polo shirt kind of thing with matching brown pants, but his patches on his arm. I'm like, you want me to take this guy seriously? He's traveling to the UK for shit, right, left, and center. He's more of the time he's out of the country than in the country. How can a fearless leader be guiding his country to success when he's hardly ever there? You think with all these places he would go, he'd walk into a tailor shop. I mean, he went and dealt with Charles and all that stuff. You think he could have taken a cab over to Savile Row and had been measured? I think the guy dresses... Oh, he's no good. He is no good. And now they're having stuff with... they're all bringing up the fact that somewhere on social media they say that... Oh, the other thing about the Z guy, he's now comparing, because they're having the G7 in Hiroshima, and they went to the museum about the mushroom boom boom. Well, he has the gall to compare the destruction that's happening in his little home country to what happened in August of 45. This guy is so freaking clueless. No wonder he and JoJo make a good pair. And then it's like they're making noise because now someone said that the cartoon ice cream agency is putting out on social media that they're looking for staff out of the Russian population. I can tell you for one thing, they don't hire people from social media adverts. Whoever's doing that has got some big bullocks. And then I was watching Trevor this morning, and he's military. He keeps his eye on a lot of stuff. If you have time, listen to his morning rant. He brought up the fact that they've recently discovered the remains of a World War II era U-boat sunk just off the coast of Argentina. Well, it happens that I've got a friend who is from Argentina, and so I will be reaching out to her, and I'm going to bounce to her, Trevor's morning rant, and saying, hey, can you find out the real scoop on this? Because I guess the Argentinian government has put a news blackout on this discovery. So unless you know somebody who's in Argentina who can speak that dialect of Spanish, you're going to be up a freaking creek. So, Trevor, I'm doing my part to find out the scoop. Now for the dastardly duo. It's okay. We all know what the nonsense they pulled after they went to that stupid award ceremony, and then Gloria rescinded her award. They're crying. I'm like I said, I'm surprised she didn't tell the driver to head down to the Holland Tunnel. And in fact, on one of the things, one of the news clips, photos, they did have the signage for like this lane to enter. I think it was the Lincoln Tunnel. So I'm surprised she didn't tell the driver to head that way. And really free carry out. I mean, that would have put him in Bellevue. Their mental wards there. But while I was watching this, I mean, every so often I get her to visit, and she did pay me a visit. Yesterday, Wallace and I had a nice conversation. And I could hear her just gritting through her teeth, saying, this woman is being a total copycat in my manner of dress, and she doesn't know how to, and she does it very poorly. And Wallace said if she continues this behavior, she will get my life. She'll get my life of exile. And Wallace goes, it wasn't pretty. It wasn't fun. It was a lonely, bitter existence. Having to depend on the gratitude of strangers, of people, of other people. We didn't have the real money that people thought we did. We were able to cover our expenses at our home in Paris. But because we were the Duke and Duchess of Windsor, we had to maintain a social presence. So when we would travel to America, the cruise line would take care of many of our expenses. And when we would check into the hotel, we would pay the basic hotel bill, but many of the other things were provided by people that we were the guests of. And I always had to maintain a very, very gracious exterior. And we did need to play our roles in being the charming, exiled King and Duchess of England. Something that she will never be able to carry off. She doesn't have the breeding. Yeah. Nice message from Wallace. Very nice. And something else that clicked in after she paid me a visit was that she's visiting Gordon Getty. I don't think it wasn't for her to get involved in any kind of May, December, or I should September, December relationship. But It was for her to secure the rights for photos of certain children from infancy through college, because Getty Photos, the Getty family has Getty Images, one of the largest, in fact, I think the largest supplier of stock photos for media. So I think she was in there to negotiate exclusive rights to the photos of certain children, so they could use those photos, and those parents would be under an NDA to use those photos as the children we never see. That's what I think. I have a feeling that is exactly what she was discussing with Gordon Getty, because pulling stuff off randomly off the internet, they're getting busted. But if they have exclusive rights, and Getty puts certain children under contract with an NDA, and they're paid very well, this way she can have some continuity factor. It wasn't for she might have had to use some of her tricks of the trade to get him to agree, but it was to provide photos. That's what she was going for. And now, after the nonsense that blew up in NYC, it was reported that on Friday, Henry was spotted in the Los Angeles area with a woman who wasn't Rachel. Fifth wedding anniversary? They just went through a traumatic incident. Why weren't they clinging together? He realizes what a stunt she pulled, and maybe he said, I'm out. And now he's hanging out in LA with a whole different group of friends. People that speak the truth about Rachel. So, yeah. That's what I've got for you today. It's Sunday. I hope everyone is having a lovely day. Remember, everything's for entertainment purposes. The full disclaimer's down in the box. It's Sunday, so I'll be getting a video for you on Tuesday. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.